don't build strength in the public space. You learn how to be with the Lord. A real man is a spiritual man. He's a spiritual man. His anchor is in Jesus. And where I'm going tonight is, while the world tries to show you what a man should look like in his biceps, in his six-pack, in his bank account, with his cars, his sports cars, the image of masculinity in the Bible is Jesus. The Christian man, your mentor, must be Jesus Christ. Just go, you know, our assignment this year is to study Jesus. Go and study Jesus. Bro, there were all kinds of women around Jesus. He never touched any one of them inappropriately. Never. Never. Jesus is the epitome of masculinity. Epitome. So you can't make a Hollywood image your mentor. You can't make what they are trying to push up as manhood as your image of masculinity. It must be Jesus Christ. So young ladies, look for a man that looks like Jesus, talks like Jesus, acts like Jesus, in the secret and in the open. That is the key. That's a real man. He may not have biceps. He may look like Pastor Barrow. Just slim, quiet, but he's a warrior in the spirit. You think that thing Evangelist Shala shared with us, you can do it? You think you can do it? Look at some men walking with their wives on the road. The wife is holding 3 children like this. There's one on her back. There's load on her head. The man is strolling in front with his phone. What betide you that you marry that kind of man? You think that thing that Evangelist Shala did, you can do it? That armed robbers, I've told you before, don't think you can do anything when you see a gun until you see one. And I can tell you, because I've held one before, I've seen what he can do to men with peace in their pants. Then a man sees 3 armed robbers, armed, and one wanted to put his hand on his wife where he didn't pay for, and something went off in the man's head. That is not a natural response for every man. Some men will be under the bed. Honey, it's okay. Don't beat my wife. Oh, don't beat my wife. Oh, Jesus. And nobody will blame him. Do you know nobody will blame him? They tell you that you should not argue with an armed man. But you see, a real man is protector. Is protector. He will do anything to ensure his wife and children are protected. I don't have the time, because Raphael is already looking at me with bad eye that my time is up. So he wants you people to ask questions. Go and read about Jacob, and just read it from the beginning. When he got to the town where Laban is, I think it's 2 Kings, or is it 1 Kings now? 19 or so. He gets there, and the shepherds tell him, he goes there, asks them, do you know Laban? He's my brother, he's my kinsman. I came looking for Laban. I say, yes, we know him. In fact, here comes his daughter Rachel with the sheep to water the sheep. And then Jacob looks at them and says, why are you people just standing here idle? It's time for the sheep to be watered. Why don't we water? They say, no. We are waiting for all the sheep to come before we water. Jacob said, okay. Immediately Rachel came. You know why they were waiting? They didn't want to roll away the stone, water the sheep, roll it back, and then when other sheep come, they roll it away again. But immediately Jacob saw Rachel. The Bible says he sprung up, a man of strength. One man by himself rolled away the stone. As if that was not enough, he took all of the flock and by himself he watered them. Protector, provider. Provision is not about how much you have. It's in the state of your heart and the willingness to provide. It's provision. You're in a relationship now with a brother, young lady. You're the one doing all the calling. You're in a relationship with yourself. Don't be deceived. You are about to marry yourself. You say, he's just too busy. I know him. He loves me. Oh. My wife will tell you, when we were cutting, we can talk on the phone for hours. Hours. Somebody say, were you jobless? No. I had work. I will close at 6. I wake up at 6 a.m., close at 6, rush, take my bath. Then once I've taken my bath, I was offshore. Once I've taken my bath, I'll rub powder on my neck. Then I'll love is a sweet thing. Then I'll now lie down on the corridor. close to the wall and hang my leg like this. Rabuza. And then I'll call my wife. We can talk like that 2-3 hours. You cut it now. No, cut it. 2-3 hours. Then you're in a relationship with somebody. He's too busy he never calls you. Never calls you. Let me tell you a secret. You will always make time for the ones that you love. Always. The problem is that he's not willing to make time for you because men, the way a man's mind operates is that if he's serious about you, he will show it. Men are not designed to, like I told you, if men don't say things they don't mean. If they are saying things, it means they mean it, or they are trying to be what? Manipulated. Don't marry a man that cannot go out of his way for you. I told you, for a Christian man, a real man, his strength is in his love and his sacrifice. That's where your strength is. Where your strength is. Not in your muscles. You know, we're in the region of Nigeria where fathers say things like, they cannot train female children. Don't be that kind of man. Don't be a traditional man that grows up traditionally. And traditions are stronger than your spiritual coordinates that have been set by Jesus in the Bible. Some brothers sitting here now, their idea of marriage is somebody will be washing their clothes, somebody will be cooking their food. When they sit down and they are meditating on marriage, say, man, married men, they enjoy. Say, so I could just sit down parlor. Then they'll just cook. So when she wants to serve the food, I used to joke with my wife sometimes. I say, in those days, when you want to give your husband food, you go on your 2 knees and say, Megwa. Some brothers, that's what they are waiting for now. Say, kneel down. Then the woman will kneel down with the tray in their hand. They will now be eating. The food is sweet. Oh, thank you, my husband. You better go and act with Peter Doche. Go and act. It's only in movies that those things happen. There's nothing wrong with a woman kneeling to greet her husband, but that's not the essence of the marital union. The strength of a man is in love and what? So 5 things. Let me just put it in 5 things. Then we can ask questions. So what does a real man look like? A man that has a godly view of women. Number 1. What does a real man look like? A man that has a godly view of women. So he does not objectify women. He has a godly view of women. To him, women are not just objects to use to satisfy sexual pleasure. A woman is his equal, but he has the privilege of leadership. He's the first amongst equals. A Christian man realizes that he's first among equals. He's the head, he's the leader, but his wife is not inferior to him. Those of you who are workers, I've taught you before. Different does not mean better than. Have you heard me say that before? Workers. Different does not mean better than. It simply means not the same. So men and women are different. Does not mean that the woman is better than the man, or that the man is better than the woman. It just means that they are not what? So what they are supposed to be is that the woman is supposed to complement the man, and the man is to complement the woman. Are we together? Number 2, a real man is a servant leader. He knows he's called to leadership, but he leads as a servant. A real man is a servant leader. He recognizes that he's called to leadership, but he leads as a servant. This is why Jesus said, husbands, love your wives as Christ did what? Love the church. And what did he do? He gave himself. Number 3, a real man controls his passions and emotions. Look at what I wrote here. He keeps his hands off a woman who is not his wife, keeps his eyes off pornographic material. He can be trusted with women's innocence and virginity. He does not define himself by his sexual ability. Number 4, a real man is a protector. Protector. A real man is a protector. He protects his wife, protects his children, protects his siblings. He's a protector. Last not least, and the most important for me, that's why I left it for last, a real man is a spiritual man. What does it mean to be a spiritual man? He's genuinely born again, and he's committed to growing spiritually. A real man is a spiritual man. He's genuinely born again, and he's committed to growing spiritually. Bow your heads and ask the Lord, make me a real man. If there are areas of your life that you need to work on, if it's self-control, talk to him now. Make me a real man. A real man, a real man, a real man. Pray now. I don't just want to measure myself by the way I look. I don't just want to measure myself by my economic status. I want to be a real man. Watchful, standing firm in the faith, being strong in the Lord. Pray now, so that we can go into Q&A. Just take 3 minutes to talk to the Lord. Can God trust you with his daughters? Can he send daughters around you and know that you will not molest them? Are you the kind of brother that is telling every sister that she's beautiful? You are manipulating sisters. Repent now and ask the Lord for mercy. Quickly. All the sisters around you are falling in love with you, and you are doing it intentionally, playing with their hearts, so that they can cook for you, so that they can send you transport money. You are using your privileged position as a man to prey upon the vulnerability of sisters. You are a wicked man. You are wicked. You are not a real man. You are not a real man. You are not a real man. You are wicked. You are deliberately draining the femininity of women, taking advantage of them because they are your sisters in the Lord. Ask the Lord for mercy now.